Rainbow Top Gun Season 2.
Hello and welcome to Top Guns. I'm your host, Shane Phillips. Today's episode features the story of a man who made the jump from the Indian Foreign Service to become one of Dubai's most successful entrepreneurs. An individual we all know as Mr. Reliable. It's Paras Shahdadpuri, the founder of Nikai. Paras Shahdadpuri has always been a family man. He attributes much of his success to the support he has received from his wife and kids. To make a brand out of nothing, you really have to have something special in you. It can't just happen. You have to make it happen. And that's exactly what Paras Shahdadpuri did with Nikai. Mr. Paras Shahdadpuri, welcome to Top Guns. We're very excited to have you here and to learn about your inspirational story. We literally started from almost ground zero to grow into one of the iconic leaders in the UAE, one of the iconic business leaders, and now so much part of the community here in the United Arab Emirates. Isn't that right?
That's true. Thank you very much for having me on Top Guns, Shane. You know, you are in the society here. At times you tend to do some society work and then you get in touch with various sheikhs and highnesses. They see you through for sure. They have very sharp eye. And if they see that you are doing something very useful and very good for the society, they are naturally interested. They keep in touch. And this is how, with God's grace, I have been really endowed by the God that I have been pretty close to various sheikhs here, to the royal families. We live here, so we have...
You even claim one of them as a mentor to you, I think I read.
Absolutely. He's my real-time mentor. He's His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. It's very kind of them.
You actually ended up here by chance, and because you are originally Indian, and can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing? You know, how did it all start?
All right, it's a long story to our past, apparently. I was born in Sindh, which is now a part of Pakistan, at that time India. We came back in 1948, 1947, and after the partition of India. So for us, it was beginning our life from ground zero, total scratch. My father, thanks to his great vision and great efforts, he brought us up. He was himself a senior bureaucrat in the health department. I was barely 2-3 years at that time. He brought us up, gave us good schooling, good education. Thereafter, I myself passed the competitive examination and got into the diplomatic service of India.
Following in your father's footsteps?
Following my father's footsteps as a bureaucracy, yes, but two different branches. Thereafter, we went out. My first posting was in Beijing, China.
What year was that in Beijing? It must have been a very tough posting.
Early 70s. Absolutely tough. The relationship between India and China was at one of the lowest ebbs. And there was not a single Indian in entire China at that time. Then we were posted to Washington, D.C., back to head office, then to Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, and lastly to Libya.
Definitely some tough posts. I think you had a bit of tenacity in your early days.
The best places I liked was my first posting in China and my last posting in Libya.
They're the toughest ones.
The both places which pose some challenges. And in challenges alone, you can show something that what are you worth.
You make a drastic change, you're completely changing from the public to the private sector. Can you talk about what brought that on and how you did that?
Well, honestly, after these 4 postings, my last posting in Libya, in Tripoli, I was in charge of the commercial and the economic portfolio. It was the first time I was handling this portfolio. There was already a lot of economic engagement between India and Libya, but wasn't any commercial involvement, which means trading and commercial activities. I was given this challenge by my ambassador. Paras, can you please turn this and make this India and Libya relationship as a major commercial relationship? So that was a challenge to me. I took it. Let me tell you that within 1 year and about 4-5 months, I made the trading relationship almost from 1 million to almost 200 million, 300 million dollars. There I came to realize that there is something more to Paras than his diplomatic and bureaucratic career. I realized that there is perhaps a businessman in Paras. Then I decided to leave the government of India. I resigned. I didn't seek any retirement. You have to finish certain number of years. I started my business in India, not really, but I just began for a very short while. I saw that India at that time had lots of economic difficulties. It is in 1987-88 when India was still a closed economy. So I set up my office in London, being the English-speaking country where my children can pursue their education. I was there for about a few months, actually close to a year. Then I was one day traveling from India to London, and the flight was via Dubai, and I missed the connection. The next connection was after 22 hours more, and I said, what to do? I requested one of these Emirati, and I wished him Salam Alaikum. I said, I'm stuck up here in my broken Arabic, which I had learnt in the Arabic countries. And he saw I was stammering, almost talking Arabic. He says, Bolo, bolo, baba, bolo, kya mangta? So I was quite taken aback by his gesture in my language. And I told him that, can I get some visa to go out? He says, okay, we'll try. And within 10 minutes, he gives me the visa. Now, that's the first time ever I visited Dubai in my life. When I went to Dubai and saw that this is an extended part of India, as if everybody speaking my language, most of the shops owned by the Indians, the telecommunication amazing, there were a large number of Indian schools. I really began to think, London is not my place, perhaps this is my place. I loved the city, I loved the place. So after about 3-4 months, I wrapped up everything in London and came to Dubai, and the rest is history.
You started in electronics appliances was the beginning for you, and you created your own brand. Nikai was your invention. Can you talk a little bit about how you developed that? What was that all about?
When I came to Dubai, I saw that lots of electronics were getting sold. Now, by the time I woke up or I knew about it, this Russian boom or the Soviet bloc's boom, at that time I saw people selling the electronics against 100 dirhams to $100. And the Russians who used to come at that time would not know it was such a big vacuum in that part of the world. I saw people minting money, but by the time I could think of the electronics, the boom was gone, and actually the slide had started. But I still saw some opportunity. I made my very humble beginning, but very honest. You see, I always believe if you have the eye for the detail and you work hard towards it and you work with all honesty and integrity, believe me, there's nowhere that you can fail. Any business.
You know, what is it that actually drives you that, lets you pick yourself up off the canvas and throw another knockout punch? What is it really that's driving you in your darkest hour?
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Give a pause. Think. Think deeply. When you are thinking, think all the entire gamut of the things. Therefore, I said if it's a picture, see all the 4 corners. And see where are the gaps, where are the problems. Are they surmountable or they are totally insurmountable? If they are insurmountable, then that's the fact of life. And you can't bang your head against the wall. You'll break your head. So better drop it. And therefore I said, either change or correct the path. So whenever I have, and there are umpteen number of occasions when I have hit the wall. Every now and then it keeps on happening. But then you have to really, rather than getting panicky, or rather than getting very hyper, cool down, think, do some yoga, and think at that time which way to get out of it. And you will always find the solutions.
Presented by Nokia, powered by Audi.
पापा
बोलो।
मम्मा बहुत लकी है, आपको तो सब कुछ बनाना आता है।
वो तो है।
पर पापा अगर लड़के वाले मुझे देखने आए तो
क्या?
मुझे तो एक कप चाय भी ठीक से बनानी नहीं आती।
एक काम करते हैं, चाय से शुरुआत करते हैं। मेरा एक छोटा सा राज है, ताजे दूध से बना रेनबो इवेपोरेटेड मिल्क। इसका रिच और क्रीमी टेस्ट चाय में जान डाल दे। बाय द वे, लड़का कौन है?
किसी दिन चाय पे बुलाऊंगी।
रेनबो इवेपोरेटेड मिल्क, चाय का परफेक्ट मैच।
Rainbow Top Gun Season 2.
When he was at the crossroads of changing his nice, cushy, cozy job at the government and jumping into the uncertain world of business in a new country, I did see apprehension in him, but I didn't see any lack of confidence or the lack of the fact that he had 2 kids to bring up, and he's pretty confident. He knew he would succeed. He knew whatever he takes up, he will do well. The one thing that he always believed in was anything was possible, and to fail was not an option.
Mr. Paris, I'm truly amazed. Most people take 1 year and a team of advertising, marketing, and PR agents to create a brand. And here you made, the region's leading electronics brand, Nikai, in one night on a table napkin.
That's quite an interesting story. All my purchases used to come from Japan. Once I placed an order, the Japanese company, and it was my initial days of the brand. So they said, please let me know what brand do you want to print on the products. I said, well, put any brand, doesn't matter to me. He said, no, sir, now that you have placed 2 containers and we can put a brand of your choice. I said, okay, then give me 1 day more. So I was staying in a hotel, and because there was something was working in my mind, I woke up at about 5 o'clock in my bed, and I was tossing and turning, just thinking what to name the brand. Then I was trying to see some combinations and permutations to build a name. So somehow Nikai was born.
In that hotel room
in that hotel
5 a.m.
room in the morning. So I woke up my manager. I said, how about Nikai name? He says, sounds good, sir. Then we tried to see whether Nikai existed ever in some country. So the Nikai name was born at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning in the hotel room when I was still in my bed.
In your pajamas? In
my pajamas.
But luckily I understand your manager had a bit of artistic flair himself.
He did. He was a little artistic guy, and we went to the breakfast table. And then there were paper napkins, and he started drawing Nikai. So we wrote Nikai in a particular fashion, which continues till today, 15, 16 years hence. That was the birth of Nikai, and the logo of Nikai, really.
Unbelievable. And then you're saying at that point you didn't have a vision of growing into this regional player.
Honestly, no. My vision was that I want to buy something, good product, good quality product, sell it in the market, make some small money, and that was my objective.
When you start out, it's really a no-name appliance brand and now you're getting into a very big Shark Tank. How do you even get shelf space, or how do you even get your first sale?
You see, in the beginning, we were playing on the value, as they call it, value for money brand. It went on for about 4 or 5 years. Then was the birth of the various hypermarkets here, and then we were looking for the space on the shelves of various major shops. There we started building up our brand then. With God's grace, the basic thing of our product was the quality. We kept the things very honest and sincere. And I realized that good quality, amazing service which was within my reach, a very good relationship with the people, kept on building up the brand. We supported the brand by the ATL, as they say it, above the line and below the line marketing activities. Soon it became one of the formidable force in this region.
At the very outset, I must say that our chairman, Mr. Shahdadpuri, strongly believes that good customer service experience is paramount to success of our business.
He is so calm, he will sit with you, he will understand the problem, he will give his own solutions, listen to your ideas, listen to your inputs, and make a decision at the end of the day.
Shahdadpuri is the embodiment of his brand signature, Mr. Reliable.
So starting from the hotel room in Japan to now 60 countries, where are you going? What's in the future for the Nikai group of companies?
Well, as it is in the Nikai group of companies, we have diversified long time ago. We are in food distribution in UAE and some other countries. We are also in fast food restaurants, some of them. And our another major business which is coming up is in the outsourcing and staffing requirement of various different companies. Now something is on the cards. Either it is going to be in the field of education, which would mean schools really, or in the field of healthcare, which could mean hospitals or some health-related activity.
Do you have any success principles or mantras that kind of guide you?
Yes. Whenever I start off anything, I put the things on the drawing board. I see the details. Then 3 mantras are required. Your total commitment, your passion, and your eye for the detail.
Winston Churchill once said the price of greatness is responsibility, and I understand that you're a man who doesn't just take responsibility for your business but also responsibility within the community.
Education is very dear to my heart, honestly. So I have established Nikai Awards for the best teacher, and in order to make the circuit complete, I have also kept one award for the best student through the support of and under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. So these are the few of the activities, and other, of course, philanthropic activities which I would not like to say in the public. Wherever it is possible in India and UAE, we keep on doing it from time to time.
Around the world, millions of people are switching to Nokia Lumia for the best smartphone photography in low light, for easy wireless charging. Time to switch.
Rainbow Top Gun Season 2.
Dad has always been very loving, very supportive. I can remember him from the early years. He really likes to keep the family together. We still live together. We love being with him. We love being around with him. My kids, he's a huge contribution to them. Actually, very interestingly, every Saturday he has a 3 o'clock meeting with my kids where he teaches them all kinds of worldly stuff, and they're only 7 and 12 years old. So he's very loving, he's very supportive, and and we really enjoy being with him.
What an amazing and beautiful house. And this is really something. I mean, you had this designed yourself, or?
Well, actually, thank you, first of all, for giving the compliments. No, we had to engage architects. I had Italian architect, the South African, Dutch architect. So the efforts of various different people.
So how did you meet your wife?
Our parents of both sides met each other and identified talked to the girl and girl's father, and they almost concluded the engagement. I said, hey guys, hold on, I must also participate in this.
At least meet her, right?
So then I traveled there and I met the girl, my wife now, and I spent 2-3 hours together. Next day also, then I said, yes, go ahead, please.
And then 2 years of the engagement, writing long love letters to each other.
Yes, long 10 pages, 15 pages, 12 pages, every now and then, every week.
A real romance.
And believe me, at the time of our wedding, I presented her whole suitcase of the letters. we were engaged for 2 years.
Oh, that's very sweet. You still have the suitcase?
No.
So now you're a grandfather, and there's a bit of responsibility as you kind of pass on to the next generation. What kind of values and message do you want to send to the next up and coming?
Well, I would like them to be very genuine, be on the ground, don't fly, have your head on your shoulders, and be honest in your conduct. Honesty really pays you all the time in your life. Be honest to yourself. Once you are honest to yourself, I'm sure you'll be honest to the world. Number 2 is that when you are earning for yourself, think of the society always.
So starting a brand from scratch is really a feat. I mean, that takes a lot of energy and time. How did you find balance? And when you look back on that, do you wish you had more time for the wife and kids in the early days?
You see, any time, 24 hours are too less in a day. But we always have to find a balance. We always walk on the tightrope most of the times of our life. So it's fun to be creating that balance. The only thing is whether you want to make 100 million today or you're okay to have 100 million 2 years later. So we do give a lot of time. I do call my wife on a Thursday, let's plan up for Saturday and Friday and let's go for a movie. Honestly, you have always guilt conscious that, oh, you didn't spend enough time with her. So I try to make it up as much as I can.
Unbelievable. Now, how old are your kids and what are they doing now?
My daughter is now already married. My son is married. My son is an MBA and an engineer. My daughter is a postgraduate pediatrician. Now she has gone again to US to do her second master in the healthcare. So she's planning to open up some hospital or something. Let's see, inshallah, we'll be able to start some new ventures pretty soon.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Paras. I think our viewers have gotten a lot out of your inspirational story of really building something from scratch, and I really look forward to seeing you again sometime soon.
It has been a pleasure, Shan. Anytime again. It was very kind of you to have visited me and spent time. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Talking to all these top guns has really motivated me, and I hope it's touched you in the same way. Until next week, this is your host, Shane Phillips, signing off.
Family felt that I'm going amok.
Crazy.
No, I think I gave my reasons. I have to take my family with me. I have taken a fairly lonely path many times in my life, but I have taken the people around with me. In this case, my family and my extended family. We had a long debate. We saw the pros and cons. The idea was, can I sustain with the bare minimum? If I can, that's the bottom. Anything after that is looking up.